So, the idea of a 9-to-5 job seems to be repulsive to a lot of people nowadays, and for good reason. But there's one problem with it that's not really talked about, so I'm here to talk about it. More and more people nowadays seem to just hate the 9-to-5 concept. The idea of slaving away every single day of your life until you die, earning an okay amount of money, working for a company that you don't really even care about. It's not very attractive. You work a good 8 hours a day with this boring job. And if you do really well and you're lucky, you become a boss and you work 12 hours a day instead. And already there, it's obviously awful, but there's so much more to it, and there's a bigger problem. And here it is. It removes your purpose. We all feel like we have a purpose, or we don't yet, and it's gonna come to us. And that's often where we're at when we're going into adulthood. Our purpose hasn't come to us yet, because everyone has purpose. Everyone has layers of purpose, as it's beautifully described in The Way of the Superior Man. And if you haven't found yours, it's not because you don't have a purpose. It's just because you haven't found it yet. So because we don't want to end up like failures and our parents are pushing for it, we go to university. And during this period, we might start getting a sense of purpose. A purpose that's related to something completely different. Or maybe that even happens right after you're done with your studies. And then you just think you can't just quit and chase that purpose. You couldn't. You've spent years on this path. So you decide that it's too late, that you chose your path and all you can do is continue. And the saddest part is, this path that you're now stuck on will not suddenly start feeling like your purpose. You will never feel like this is your purpose. Ever. Unless potentially you would first go on to complete that purpose that you're now feeling pulled towards. Because once you complete that, you're gonna start feeling like you have a new purpose. And that could potentially be what you're now studying or the path you're now on. But chances are, if you stay on this one forever, there will always be an underlying longing for a different life. And people wonder why all these men grow up to be bitter, working the same office jobs for decades. Because that's the thing, after each layer of purpose, after following it for a few years, you might feel like something completely different is suddenly your purpose. You completed that layer, that purpose, and you will now begin on your next one. Have you seen these people that really live their best lives? They've had a bunch of different careers. They've been successful with a business, started a charity, become musicians, all kinds of things. We're supposed to feel a pull to different things in different periods of our lives. And let's supposedly say that you do feel like your purpose is actually this 9-to-5, which some people do. Another big problem with it is that you're stuck working in a way that someone else wants you to work. And I'm not even talking about how you have to work with something you're not personally invested in. Right now, I mean how you have to work on it. You're forced to have meetings multiple times a week, maybe multiple times a day. You're forced to check your email all the time because you're expected to answer fast. And you're forced to work weekends. Not because you're verbally forced, but because according to a lot of companies nowadays, you're just kind of expected to be reachable during the weekend if something urgent pops up. Especially if you start getting promotions. There can be an urgent matter, and since your last promotion, you're expected to deal with these things when they come up. It's fucked up. All these things, meetings, checking email, it means that you never get to focus for real. You never reach deep work. It's all shallow work. Did you know there are actually studies showing that we as human beings are the happiest when we focus deeply on something? When we're sinking into an activity, whether it's work or playing an instrument. Working like this will not allow you to do that. And nowadays, many places have open offices as well. That's a nightmare when it comes to focus. Makes no sense. So a 9-to-5 might to some people even feel good, but you're still doing it on somebody else's terms. You're trapped in a way that won't allow you to follow your purpose. And you feel like you can't pursue your purpose because you've already spent 5 years on an education for this specific type of job. And that's very sad to me that many people live like this. But I'm not telling you to quit university. I'm not even telling you to not get a 9-to-5 job. But please, for the love of God, think for yourself and follow your purpose. That thing you feel pulled towards. It will do you much better than following what you're expected to want. So, find your purpose and follow it. And earn your sleep, brother. And by the way, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Please and thank you.